Good morning, good morning. How are you? Glad to have you with us today. Hello, hello. Yeah, we're going to do a special session today. We're going to talk about advanced trading signals and how we locate them. Because I was reviewing the markets and we have really interesting situation taking place with the yen pairs. Now, we've been talking about the yen pairs for quite some time. And if you take a look here, I got a chart up here. This one is the CAD yen. So we've been talking about the yen for some time now. And we've been talking about the fact that we have a massive area of supply that is in play. So we're going to see, what's taking place with that supply in play and how it's affecting the overall markets. Okay, we're going to look at the dollar. We're going to look at what the dollar is doing, what it has been doing, what dynamic is currently in play with the dollar. And then we're going to take a brief look at the US dollar Japanese yen and compare it to what we're seeing with respect to the dollar. Because when you take a look at both the dollar and the US dollar Japanese yen, you can see that there's two totally different things that are taking place. So I want to discuss that because I think there's a very good opportunity that's coming down our way. All right. So thanks for joining. Hit the like button if you can. I would appreciate that. And so let's first start by taking a brief look at the dollar. So as you can see with the dollar, okay, let me just move this over. As you can see with the dollar, it's been somewhat strong over the last little bit. Okay, now we do have supply that is in play. We've talked about this for quite some time up in here. So this supply has been in play for quite some time. But as you can see, there's been a very strong resistance taking place at this supply. It comes, it hits it, now it's coming back up, it reacts to the downside, now it's coming back up. So there seems to be a very strong pressure to push upwards against this area of supply. I think this is very interesting. Okay, it's very interesting, and I think it's something that we need to be aware of. Now, remember that pressure. Now let's take a look at the US dollar Japanese yen. Do you see as much pressure going upwards as we do with the dollar? We don't see that. In fact, what we see is more weakness. Okay, we see more bearish pressure, if anything, taking place on the chart. Right? And like I've mentioned numerous times, we have a massive area of supply up here on the chart. And it seems to be coming into play. Right? And if it continues to play out, then we would expect price to continue moving lower. Now, what does that mean for us? All right. So as I was mentioning, when I was going through the other markets, I was looking at some of the yen pairs, and what I found is a decent opportunity here. Let's look at the US CAD really quickly, because I also want you to see that the US CAD has a lot of strength, okay, in price action. A lot of strength, all right? And when you look at the weekly chart, we do not have supply that is in play, okay? When you look at the monthly chart, we do not have supply that is in play. So what does that mean? Well, it means that there is a chance that we could see price drive up higher on the charts. Now, if the US CAD drives up higher on the chart, what does that mean? That means the Canadian dollar will get weaker. Okay? So weak Canadian dollar. Now remember, on the US dollar Japanese yen, we see more pressure to the downside. So that would mean a stronger Japanese yen. All right, so if we can come to that conclusion, all right, we're talking about odds here. What are the odds of something happening? And right now, just by looking at the dynamic on the chart, by looking at the dollar with its strength and the US dollar Japanese yen with its weakness, just by looking at those three charts, we can come to the conclusion that there's higher odds that the CAD yen will drop as opposed to rally. So when we look over at the CAD yen chart, we're looking for signs of weakness, and we have that. Okay, we currently have the signs of weakness, right? For instance, if we take a look at this monthly chart, what we can see is that we currently are reacting from an area of supply here, okay? That's an area of supply that we have on the charts. Now, if we take a look at what has been transpiring on these charts, we can see that at one point price was moving downwards, okay? And holding price to this downward movement was this type of price action, okay? Coming down here. Now all of a sudden it broke free from that and it rallied straight up to contact supply. Now supply is coming in play and now it's pushing to the downside. Now if you take a look, the only area of demand that we have on the chart is down here. Okay, so that leaves room for price to drop like this. All right, but the thing is, we don't just want to assume that the drop is going to happen, because that wouldn't be good analysis. Assuming doesn't get you to get into profitable trades. Okay, assumptions are no good. We want to see proof that this is going to happen, and in order to see proof, we have to narrow down the charts, go down to the charts through all the weekly and daily and 4-hour, and look at the structures that are being created on those time frames. So that is the weekly, the monthly. Now we go over to the weekly. Okay. So here we have price, and we had an institutional area of demand